What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you...
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, folks, and thank you so much. We're having a special Saturday edition today to, in part, accommodate my very lovely guest who we're going to be interviewing in just a second. She's an up-and-coming country singer by the name of Josey Milner. So without further ado, let's get her on the line and get started with our interview. Hi, Josey.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good. I was just looking at your beautiful face and listening to your voice a couple of hours ago, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I was very excited to do this interview because it's always neat. I have all sorts of the gamuts on my show. I have the celebrities that are a little higher up, and then I've got up-and-coming people, and it's always so neat to find someone like yourself. I wanted to start off the interview by just saying that I find you to be such a unique talent. Your voice, for being so young, is just so well-versed. Just consummate professionals, all I'm hearing it resonate. I'm like, I have very high expectations that your future will be brilliant. Very nice job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Oh, not a problem at all. I'm sure you're probably used to hearing that constantly. And just to let everybody know, I just found out that you're actually a National Honor Society student, which is very impressive for being 17.
I am. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So she's pretty, and she sings, and she's smart. Okay, thank you. That's a 3-way combination. Thank you very much. It's a huge accomplishment, I just have to say. So I figured I'd start out by telling you that you're wonderful, and now I have about 8,000 questions for you.
All right, I'm ready.
First off, I wanted to ask you if you originally derived from musical roots, meaning your family or your history. Anything come from your family?
Honestly, I don't know. That's a no for that one. We have no clue how I got interested in music because no one in my family has ever had an interest in music. They've always been about, because I did rodeo for 8 years, and so they're either about rodeo or they are in for sports or just some completely opposite of music, and so we're still kind of questioning how I got that myself.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, because sometimes people will come from a family or they'll have something where it's like, yeah, okay, but, well, that's interesting, actually, because usually somebody in the family's got something, but okay. What age did you find yourself starting to have this passion as it's relative to music?
Well, I guess the age that it really started whenever I was about 14 or 15. Ever since I was little, though, I was constantly singing along with the radio and constantly listening to music and just always trying to do whatever I can just to make sure I can listen to the radio or whatever. But it wasn't until, like I said, 14 or 15 whenever I really started getting serious about it because I had the chance to go sing at the National Steel Guitar Convention in St. Louis on the main stage for a family friend invited me to go down there. And whenever I got done off the stage, people were coming up to me and asking my age, and I would tell my age. They'd be like, wow, you've got something. Maybe you should start thinking about it seriously. So from them telling me that, and that's whenever I kind of got back and I got my band together. And so I guess you could say that's when I started getting serious with it.
I gotcha. And now, just to let everybody know, you're obviously a native of Kansas City. That's correct? I'm curious because obviously I'm a Midwestern. We're in Wisconsin here. I'm wondering, were there a whole lot of outlets available to you, meaning in your area, per se, to utilize early on to boost your career? I mean, did you find that your chances were more limited, per se, because it's not New York or Chicago or things like that?
Well, I mean, being a young artist as I am, it's going to always be kind of a struggle because I am younger than most people. And so people are always kind of scared to take a chance on someone so young, so they're kind of like hesitant on it. But we've been able to get pretty far with what we've done, and we're just getting farther and getting more busy and everything else. So, I mean, yeah, there's been struggles with it, but, hey, we've gotten through them.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Now, I want to serve just as a bit of background about you. You spent your earlier years living on a farm, as I understand it, which I think is absolutely wonderful. The man I'm in love with came from a farm, as a matter of fact. So how ironic is that? And to your credit, obviously, you've been crowned both a teen rodeo and pageant princess. So I was just curious to ask, maybe share with our audience the path in which, how did you get to earning those accolades? How'd that happen?
Well, whenever I was younger, I did kind of almost everything a little girl wanted to do. I played t-ball for a little bit, and then I did pageants, and I did rodeo. But I started pageants whenever I was really young, and I actually started with a beauty pageant first, and I did pretty decent with that one. I got first runner-up, which was pretty cool considering it was my first one. And then when I started getting my passion for rodeo, I checked into doing the rodeo pageants. And the first one I did was actually kind of in my hometown that I live in, and I ended up getting first runner-up at that one, and then I went to go run for state, where I won state, which was pretty awesome. But and then between my state title and then winning my second state title, my junior miss title, I also had won 3 or 4 prior titles with my rodeo association that I did.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that. My God. You're just the rodeo girl, aren't you? Goodness gracious.
Definitely.
And that leads kind of what into what I was going to say next. I know that the initial forms that you have for performance revolved primarily around the rodeo arenas. I know that you had done national anthems there and the like. Was that experience intimidating or overwhelming at first to you just because you were younger and first kind of starting out?
Well, whenever I was young, any chance I got to be in front of people and sing, I loved it. I just kind of soaked it all in. It was like, yeah, this is so awesome. So whenever I got to sing the national anthem at my rodeos, and just to be able to be like, hey, guys, this is me, and for everyone just to be listening to me, it was always pretty cool to think as being so young. So, I mean, it was a cool experience. There's always cool experiences.
Now, can you tell us to what point, or at what point, I should say, did you make the choice, the conscious choice to say, you know what, this is something that I want to pursue as compared to, okay, I'm getting my education and I want a degree in such and such. Where was the turning point for you?
The turning point for me, I'd say, is whenever, probably within the past year and a half, whenever my band and I have really been doing very well for what we've done, and just to realize about being so young and getting the chances that I've had and the opportunities I've had, just to kind of be like, wow, this is gonna take me really far if I work hard at it. And people, it's funny because people always question me, like, hey, what do you want to go to college for? It's like, I want to go to college, yes, but I want to go for music. I don't want to go to get a degree for medical reasons or to help or to do, like, say, graphic design or stuff like that. I want to do music. Music is what I want to do.
Okay. And you're certain that that's your passion, which is neat because sometimes for some of us it takes us until we're 30 or 40 years of age to figure out, hey, this is what trips my trigger. So that's so neat that you're still so young and yet you know what you want. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. Maybe you could detail for us the progression as a performer. Let me just explain a little bit, meaning, you know, you're starting out, you're singing at various different venues in Missouri, obviously, and then you eventually decided that you were going to do your recording of the Miranda Lambert song, which is Dead Flowers. So kind of take us along that path and tell us how you got there.
Well, actually, I kind of went backwards than what most artists would do. I actually kind of went into the studio first before I got a band together. And I went to the studio first, and I recorded Dead Flowers and Walking After Midnight. And then, from then to, is what kind of sparked my band, and like I said, going to the National Steel Guitar Convention and all that kind of fun stuff. So once I got my band together and started playing out, it was amazing, and just to be up on stage in front of people, and I never wanted it to end, so hey, we're playing out as much as we can just so I can be up on stage and entertain people.
I gotcha. And do you notice that now that you've gained more popularity, per se, with the video experience, being on YouTube and Reverb Nation, etc., now that you're getting more exposed, are you finding that your audience is becoming more equated to you, meaning you're becoming more face-friendly? People are starting to want more out of you, do you think?
Well, I mean, in a way, yes, but then people are just happy to just be able to see me out and doing what I love, and it's always funny because at shows when people find out who I am, be like, oh yeah, you're that girl on the internet, you're that girl. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And actually, on one of our most recent shows, I had a guy approach me. He'd be like, are you Josey? I was like, I am. And he's like, I thought so. You're the blondest one here. And I was like, yeah, that's me.
Oh my goodness
it's kind of
gracious.
cool. So I'm starting to get recognized too. So
sure,
it's pretty cool.
I gotcha. One of the things that I'm sure, and obviously I'm a parent, so of course I have to ask this, and I'm assuming you, of course, obviously have your own set of parents and you have your own set of responsibilities, school and the like. I'm trying to figure out how you maintain that proper balance, because obviously, of course, you know, education is just as important, obviously, as the musical thing. Do you ever find that they clash at all, or do your parents ever kind of get on you and are like, yeah, Josey, is this something you really want to do? Is this reliable? Have they been supportive? Has it all been able to be juggled properly for you?
Yeah, I always find a way for stuff to work out. There's been times where I'll be working on homework in the car on the way to a show or on the way to band rehearsal, and I always find time, and most of the time I actually am able to get my homework done in school, so I don't have to worry about it outside of school, so I have my time for my music outside of school. But as far as my parents go, they support me no matter what I do, all my decisions, but they definitely, because they definitely know this is what I want to do, so I mean they're always going to be there for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. My goodness. Now, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about the Dead Flowers single. Now, I'm pleased to report that it's been placed in the top 10 of the CM charts, and, of course, I know that you have a wide overseas audience that you've established in terms of their listening of the song. So it seems only logical to me to assume that this is headed to be somewhat of a hit status. Now, I'm curious to ask you what personally inspires you about Miranda Lambert, as you obviously opted to use her song in particular.
Well, for me, Miranda Lambert is one of them artists that she relates to people, so she understands what people go through and what they think. And I just love how whenever she writes her songs, how you, like I say, you can relate to them so easily. And this is kind of a funny thing. Whenever on the CMAs, whenever they won the Song of the Year for Over You, I was like, see, that's why she does so good, because she writes songs that people are like, wow, that's such a good song, and it means a lot to people. And so that's why I believe she's gotten to where she is, because she knows what she wants to do, and she knows how to get there, and she knows that she needs to relate to people so she can kind of help them through situations, I guess you could say.
I gotcha. Got it. Makes perfect sense, actually. And I am familiar with her. I mean, she's not my favorite country singer, but I thought to myself, she's got another powerhouse voice, and she can be very inspiring, and she is very headstrong, which I like about her. I like that she projects her opinions, and she's not real quiet and shy, which I'm not either, so I can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, as another added component to your resume, of course, you produced the YouTube video of the infamous song Walking After Midnight. Now, to date, as I understand it, there's been at least a minimum of 16,000 views of said work. Now, in addition to Patsy Cline, who do you find to be your personal musical role models?
Well, I kind of grew up listening to older music, or older country music, should I say, and so it's all the classics that I really enjoy listening to, like such as Tanya Tucker. People consider George Strait a classic now, but George Strait and Patsy Cline, of course, and just all of them people who made country music what it is today and who have kept it alive and who kept it around.
I gotcha. Now, and of course I have to ask you because you're along the country genre, so usually when I have a country singer on, I'm more inclined to ask this. What is your impression in terms of the whole crossover thing, meaning that the country music isn't quite as country anymore and it's really going more so towards the country pop area? I guess I just want to get your take on that.
Well, I mean, music, no matter what genre it is, it's always changing, and country music, it's what's going to keep the people happy in a way, but then still keep it to its roots. So, of course, you kind of have to adapt to it, but it wouldn't, no matter what it is, it's always turns out to be country music, and it's always great no matter what it is.
Oh, definitely. I would agree with that, certainly. Now, I have been told that your voice has been compared to American Idol singer Lauren Elena. So would you say that that's an appropriate assessment? See a comparison?
I don't know. Whenever people approach me, they're like, wow, you remind me of such and such and this girl and this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, thank you. But what I want to be is myself. I don't want to be anyone else's voice. I want to be Josey Milner's voice. But, it's always nice to be compared to, like you said, Lauren Elena or Miranda Lambert or Carrie Underwood or, all them. So it's always good.
Definitely, and I can tell you personally, just from listening to the Walking After Midnight video, when I was listening to it, I'm like, you have that sound to you where it's just, it's more upbeat, it's more tempo, it's not the, Patsy Cline sings it, obviously, it's a classic, it goes without saying, but you put a different, interesting twist to it, which is what I like. I think that's what makes it so interesting, is it's just a little bit different, and you don't take too much away from it. So I just want to throw that out there to everyone who's listening, who needs to be listening to Walking After Midnight. I wanted to indicate, obviously, of course, you do new music in terms of new and classical country and also rock and roll. I'm wondering if it's your intention to maybe branch out to various other musical styles somewhere down the road, or do you think you might just stick more towards the country?
That's kind of Well, whenever I'm on stage, I guess you could say, I love doing the country songs, but I love rock and roll, especially the older rock and roll, like Pat Benatar and all of them. So whenever I sing them songs on stage, I rock out to them, and I have so much fun with them. But they're definitely one of my favorites, but I'll definitely be sticking with country, because country is what I love the most.
I got it. And are you going to be changing your stage performance, per se? I mean, I've seen, different, obviously, used in different areas in the videos as compared to being live on stage. Are you satisfied with your stage appearance? Do you think it's going to change? Are you going to change the whole setup of how you do things, do you think?
I don't know, honestly. I guess we'll just kind of have to see how things go. As of right now, I'm pretty happy with what goes on stage and what the band guys do and what I do. But, hey, things change all the time, so I guess we'll have to see.
Oh, definitely. Now, I thought that it might, just to pass, I would say the audience would be more interested, per se, to ask you, let's do a typical day in the life of Josey Milner. What does that entail? Are we rehearsing, 18 hours a week? I mean, tell us what a typical day is for you.
Well, it depends on what day of the week it is, honestly. But let's go with Tuesdays, for example. Tuesdays, I'll get up, of course, I'll go to school, and I go to school for 8 hours a day. And as soon as I get home, we leave about 30 minutes later to go to band rehearsal. And then we have band rehearsal for about 2 hours, and then we'll come home, and then I'll finish whatever homework I have left, and then I'll go to bed. But no matter what, it's either school or music. So.
Wow. Okay. So we don't have to ask Josey if she has a love life, because I'm guessing there's no time for that. Friends, I was going to say, how do you maintain? I mean, are you maintaining a life outside of that? I mean, are you able to still find good quality time with the family or with friends, or has that been more of a sacrifice for you?
Well, I mean, you're always going to have to sacrifice stuff with the career that I'm wanting, but luckily with me and going to school every day, I do get to see friends every day, and there has been chances where I've been able to have a kind of a break and go hang out with friends or go see family. But, I mean, yeah, times have been kind of cut short with them, but I always get the time somehow. So it works out. I getcha. And have they been able to have the opportunity, I'm guessing, to see you perform and give you their impressions as to what they thought? They have. I got to play at the fair that we have in town this past year, and all my friends were kind of freaked out about it. They're like, wow, I didn't realize how big you're going with this. And so now at school it's kind of funny because I'll be having people stop me in the hallways and be like, you got to remember me when you're all big and famous so I can get VIP passes and all this. And I'm now known at school as a famous girl, so it's kind of funny. Well,
look at that. You'll be giving out autographs before you know it if you haven't already. Look at this. Now, as I understand it, I know that you had been the opening performer for Chris Cagle. I wanted you to maybe kind of elaborate. Give us an account of that experience. What was that like?
That has definitely been my favorite show that we've done because the place we played at was so full you couldn't even walk through, and so of course there was a lot of people there. And to be able to be on stage in front of all those people, just like, wow, they're kind of watching me. What am I going to do? But I was definitely very excited and very blessed to be able to have the opportunity. And after I got done, I was actually able to go back and meet him, which is pretty cool. And I was the first one to be able to meet him that night, and I got his autograph. And it was very, very, very fun and very awesome.
Were you nervous? I would guess you probably would be.
Honestly, I kind of was before we went on, but then after I was up there and I was jumping around and singing, I was fine.
Oh, my goodness. So I have to ask the standard musician question, which is, okay, so here you are, a raving success. So then let's ask you now, so that later on when you're popular, you'll be able to do it. Who would you like to meet? If I asked you one male, one female, in terms of country or otherwise, who would you want to meet?
I definitely, for female-wise, I definitely want to meet Miranda because she is one of my biggest idols. And then I definitely have to say probably George Strait because George Strait's one of the names that everyone knows. And just be able to meet him and be like, wow, you're the one that's really famous and has had thousands of hits. And just, wow. Be a little starstruck with that one.
Oh, definitely so. Have you given any consideration to doing duet work in the future, like potentially somewhere down the road saying, okay, I would like to work with someone, meaning someone already established in the industry, or maybe an American Idol type person, or The Voice?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely always a good thing to do. I've been kind of talking to some people about collaborating with them on some songs that they've wrote. So, I mean, hey, to be able to do that with anyone, just to sing with someone else instead of just being yourself would always be awesome.
I gotcha. And this I found interesting, actually. I believe that you have been called, or actually you have been labeled appropriately, Kansas City's Princess of Country Music. Now, do you feel that that's a title worthy of yourself? Does that kind of starstruck you and like, what? Where are they getting that from? Or do you thinking to yourself, hey, yeah, I'm all that?
Well, I think, honestly, whenever I got that name, I thought it was kind of cool, honestly, because, like, hey, people are recognizing me and seeing my potential that I have. And so for people to call me that, it's kind of a big name to live up to, because Kansas City is a big area, and I'm a young artist, and so it was kind of intimidating. But I know with what I've been doing lately and where I've been playing and what I've been singing, I know I can live up to the title that I've been given. So.
Definitely, and I see far many down the road, certainly more titles being given to you as you go along. Just kind of seeing how this is penciling out little by little here. You are creating quite the name for yourself. I wanted to ask if you could maybe give us some insight on your part in terms of the new single that's forthcoming. Is there anything you can share with us? I know that it was said that the year 2012, which is almost coming to an end. Where are we at with the new single?
The new single, I'm actually going to be going into the studio Tuesday to record it. It'll be coming out December 1st, or the beginning of December, so I'm pretty excited about that one. It's called Am I Not Pretty Enough, which is going to be kind of kicking off a bullying campaign that I'm about to start, and so I'm definitely very excited to go in and record that one.
I gotcha. And might you share with us the inspiration relative to that particular song?
Well, from growing up and going to public school all my life, I've kind of seen bullying firsthand, and I definitely can't stand it. And so I'm always the one who stands up for that person who's being bullied. I'm just like, why are you doing this? What satisfaction are you getting out of bringing this person down or lowering their self-esteem? So to be able to go out and do this bullying campaign, I'm wanting to get girls together, not necessarily just girls, but getting people who have low self-esteem and who have had to face experiences like that and who have gone through bullying. I want to get them all together and be like, you guys are worth this. I don't understand why people are doing this to you. You're all equal in the same way. And so, I mean, I just want people to understand that bullying's wrong and it needs to stop.
I gotcha. Now, are you going to be providing information relative to this once you've got it up and moving in terms of your campaign? Will that be located on your website, or how will we be able to find out about that?
Yeah, you'll definitely be able to see it on my website, and as well as probably most likely Facebook and Twitter and all my other fun stuff that I have. It'll probably be all over the Internet.
Oh, yes, I can see that you are definitely socially connected, but aren't we all in these days? I think everybody has to be, definitely. Now, of course, very sad to report, I'm certain that each and every one of us in some capacity was affected, of course, by Hurricane Sandy that just recently happened. Now, as I understand it, Southern Star Network, who promotes, obviously, independent artists such as yourself to the world, had approached you to perform at their benefit that's coming up. Can you kind of share with us, meaning those of us who aren't around in there, what is all of this going to entail? Or maybe people in your area who are listening might be able to participate in this.
Well, with the Hurricane Sandy that just happened, and it's going to be to reassure people that, hey, there's people there for you, and you're not going through this alone. There's other people that this happened to, and so there's going to be people you can relate to. And just to be able to be like, hey, we understand what you're going through. We understand how devastating it could be, but we're there for you, and we're like I said, like we're there for you. But so.
I got it. And so you will be performing there, and that will be happening on what date again?
Let me think. Oh, goodness. What is that date?
The only reason I mentioned that was just in case. And, in fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I apologize. I am in error because I had written down November 12th, which means you would have just recently done that.
No.
Okay.
We didn't.
Okay. Is there a web page or any information? I'm guessing that I'm assuming that the Southern Star Network has a website, in which case we can access said information.
Yes.
So if the audience wants to get some information, I would say let's reference the Southern Star Network, and definitely. I also understand that you'll be performing on December 20th. That's correct.
Yes.
Also, and that will be in Missouri. Where will you be located then?
I will be at Davies uptown with a whole bunch of other bands the same night. So
oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, that'll be definitely very fun.
I gotcha. Now, do you, as a musician, because I know I have a good deal of musician friends myself, do you ever find yourself participating in what they call an open jam, where you just have just a plethora of different musicians all playing at the same time? Or is that something you might find yourself interested in?
Well, definitely. I've actually been able to I've played at the Acoustics for a Cure benefit, where they have several bands come in and raise money for juvenile diabetes. So that was kind of a chance that I've had before, and I've actually done that for 2 years in a row now. And then there's going to be some other opportunities coming up like that as well.
I gotcha. What I also found interesting, and this is more of a personal question myself because I found this interesting, when I was on YouTube, I actually had seen that there was a performance of you doing The Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks.
Yes.
Now, tell me what made you decide to do something such as that, because she's got quite the interesting voice and her style is very different, and that song is very different, so I guess I wasn't picturing you doing it. So I found it quite the interesting choice. I was wondering what your motivation was there, or how you got into that.
Well, like I said, I love classic rock and roll, and so I kind of was going through a list of songs of ones that people would recognize, and that was one that kind of stuck out to me, and it was kind of ironic because I went and recorded that one, and I definitely made it different than the original, but it's still recognizable to where you know what song it is. And so every time we played out at shows, people always get really excited whenever I start singing the just like the White Winged Dove part, because everyone knows that part, and so they'll always come up and sing along and dance around with it. But the ironic part about that song is on my 17th birthday, I actually had a show. Well, I guess it'd be the day before. It was from 9 to 1 o'clock in the morning, so I literally played into my 17th birthday. And so right at, I think it was about 12:58-ish, I started singing that song. And so I was like, hey, I'm literally on the edge of 17, so it was really funny.
How neat is that? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Have you started to notice, I'm curious to also ask you, who you're finding your majority audience to be, meaning that is it just more type specific to your own age, or are you starting to find that people much older are starting to become fans of yours? What are you noticing?
Well, it's a whole broad difference of ages that I think are coming to like my music, because like at the Chris Cagle show, I was having several people of all ages coming up to me and saying, wow, you're good, I like you a lot. And so it's not just one specific age. It's a whole bunch of different ages, which is very, very cool.
And actually, that will definitely help with your career in terms of, obviously, as you go along more so, people are going to be more and more interested, and from all different age brackets will make you appealing all the way across. Not that you're not darling already, because you absolutely are.
Thank you.
I know that I had notated on here that you had a request that you put out to your fans regarding your new videos. So I thought that for listeners who do not know about this, please inform us as to how they can become involved in that venture.
Well, for the video that I'm doing, it's going to be for Am I Not Pretty Enough? And I'm wanting people to take pictures of themselves holding up signs that are saying, I am pretty enough, or I am smart enough, or just something encouraging yourself and other people. So, and I'm going to take them pictures, and then are actually going to be included in the video. There's going to be a whole bunch of pictures just kind of running together. So if you're interested in that, definitely just take a picture of yourself and tag me on my Facebook, and I'll put it in for you.
And as I understand it, just to be clear about it now, they have until the end of November, is that correct? And then after that, that's the cutoff in terms of when you're accepting?
Yes, it'll be somewhere around the end of November. Yes.
I gotcha. Okay, now I wanted to ask, as we're looking at things realistically, here you are 17 years old, so let's take Josey, let's say 4 or 5 years down the road. On a personal level, where would you like to see yourself at that point in time, personally and professionally?
Well, personally, I definitely want to still be playing out and hopefully getting them bigger venues and getting the bigger spotlight, because, hey, that's where I've always dreamt of being. So, just to even just be able to be opening up for big-name artists, or, even maybe even a big name myself would be pretty awesome. But just definitely keep working at what I'm doing now and getting as far as I can. So.
I've gotcha. Now, I have to ask, of course, because I know that you're a singer now, do you also compose your own music, or is your music written for you?
Well, I'm actually going to be getting together with a couple people to start writing music, so I'm pretty excited for that. But then there's been other chances where I've had songs been sent to me to kind of pick out to sing on stage, or even to start picking out songs for my album that I'll be working on.
I've gotcha. Now, again, from a personal standpoint, if I just asked you straight out, are you more comfortable, do you think, in singing, cover songs already established, or do you think that you'd probably enjoy more so coming up with your own creations than just doing complete solo work?
Well, I like them both, honestly, because I have a couple originals that I sing at the shows, and they're just kind of songs that I can just add in with the other set list that we have going on. So it's kind of cool whenever I can say, yeah, this is an original song, and no one's heard it. But then it's also nice to be able to sing songs that people do know and sing along to. So, I mean, for me, they both work out.
Oh, certainly. Now, I know you had mentioned the anti-bullying campaign. Are there any other charities that you're either affiliated with or are going to choose to, do you think, have a participation with somewhere down the line in the future here?
Well, I definitely want to participate with the Shriners Hospital because I'm a Shriners kid myself, and I had surgery in 2007 on my back because I have congenital scoliosis, and so they paid for my surgery, which is a tremendous amount, and I definitely want to give back to them because they've given me so much, and they made my childhood so much better than what it could have been. So.
Oh, definitely. I see. Now, I also wanted to ask you the question of all the individuals you've met, and of course I'm not quite sure who you've all met on a professional level yet, but to date, thus far, who do you feel was probably the most exciting person you've ever met so far?
Well, I've had the chance to meet the band Perry, and they were so sweet, and they're so nice to talk to, and Kimberly herself, she was so funny, and before she went up on, it was before they got up on stage, and she was like, "Don't look at my hair, it's not ready yet, I'm not done, just don't mind me." And they were just so funny and down to earth, and they were real, and I definitely really enjoyed meeting them.
I gotcha. Now, I have two final questions for you. The first of which being, and I ask this usually a lot of times when it comes to singers, just I like the introspect. Obviously now we have the shows American Idol and The Voice and the like, whereas back in the day of Reba McEntire, George Strait, everybody was working to get established into music. Nowadays it would seem as though you go onto American Idol as such, and it's kind of like skipping, 4 steps, if you will. I guess I'm curious on your take on that. Do you think that is that the way that one should become established in the music industry, or what is your take on that?
Well, I mean, I don't really have any criticism against shows like that because, hey, people are wanting people to know about them as well, but I guess I could say I can't criticize that because I kind of just got the chance to have a private audition for the TV show The Voice, so I got contacted the other day from them, so I have that coming up in January. So I'm pretty excited for that. So. Oh,
I bet, definitely. I just actually went to an audition with my sister for The Voice a couple of months ago, actually. And it was a very hair-raising experience. So I'm here to tell you, if you're actually going to go ahead with this audition, which I'm sure you will, just make sure you get your P's and Q's together. It was just the most nail-biting experience I think we've ever had. Oh, my gosh, it was like on pins and needles, and they're really tough. It's very, the competition's really super stiff, I have to say.
Well, hey, I understand. It's crazy.
Oh, it is. It's really insane. And like I said, I guess I was, she's an older artist, so obviously it's a little bit different. I don't know what they were looking for, but it's just, they have this particular style and look, and I think they're kind of like, that's what we want. So yeah. It's tough. I think it's hard. I give you a lot of credit for going out being a younger girl and going out there with the likes of other individuals and holding your head up and being able to, sell your music, being out there and saying, hey, I've got a crowd that follows me. It's very noble. I think that's just amazing, actually. And to top it all off, finally, today, in fact, I discovered that you have officially debuted on CMG Radio's Top 200 International Artist Chart. I wanted to ask you, any reflections on such an amazing honor? You must be overwhelmed, I guess. What was your feelings when you found that out?
Well, it's definitely, it's not necessarily overwhelming, but it is definitely very exciting because, like I said, being young and having chances like that, and just be able to be like, wow, I'm starting to make an impact on things, and to get recognized for stuff like that, and it's crazy. And so whenever I find out little things like that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's getting so real.
It is. It's now becoming a reality, which is just so neat, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing in the foreseeable future, would it be wrong to presume that we would see a Josey Milner tour coming somewhere down the line?
Definitely. We're definitely wanting to actually do a fair tour next year throughout Missouri, Kansas, Florida, and a couple other states possibly. So we're definitely getting very excited for that.
What do I have to do to get you people to Wisconsin? My goodness, I've had Doug Briney on this show. I have had Brian Cole on this show. I've now had Josey Milner. No one wants to come to Wisconsin. I don't understand this. It's like I can't get anyone to come to Milwaukee.
Maybe we'll look into it. We'll look into it.
Oh, that would be absolutely lovely. And then I could say, you know what, she was on my show then, so I think I should be able to come to her tour now. Just saying, throwing the whole thing kind of out there, definitely. I wanted to tell our audience, and just correct me if I forget anything here, official website being www.joseymilner, that's all one word, .com. And just for you that don't know how to spell that, that's JOSEYMILNER. Of course, you have a Facebook page as well. Same name, Josey Milner. Mm-hmm. Twitter would be at Josey, I believe that's called an underscore, Milner, MILNER. And, of course, obviously, your work can be listened to on both ReverbNation.com as well as YouTube. Am I forgetting anything?
Nope, I think you got them all.
Okay, I was going to say, we won't give out your personal phone number, although I did forget to ask the proverbial question. Come on, there has to be boys out there that are probably on the edge of 17 that are saying, oh, that pretty girl, does she have a boyfriend? So I have to ask the question, is Josey Milner, the country singing, dating anybody?
Possibly.
Oh, she's speaking like a true star already. She's speaking her personal life and not saying one word. I have to say this much for you, Josey Milner. You have some sass and you have some spunk and you have a lovely voice and you present yourself amazingly well. You're very professional. You're very cute. Absolutely adorable.
Well, thank you.
I see you having an absolutely wonderful future. I admire your work, actually. And for a younger artist, you know, not everyone out there is as charismatic, I guess is the right word for it. You present yourself in such a way that I think leaves the audience wanting more. So definitely, I'm going to say to our listening audience, get out to Reverb Nation, get out to YouTube, Walking After Midnight, Dead Flowers, you need to be listening to those. I'm thinking right after December 1st is what we're thinking on that new single.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And where are we going to be able to find that?
You can also find that. I'll be on definitely my Facebook, and I'll definitely be on my website. So.
Oh, absolutely wonderful.
And of course,
well, let me tell. Yes? Go ahead.
And of course, the chances are that one might be on my up-and-coming album that I'll be coming out this coming year. So.
I've gotcha. And are your releases, or your singles, I should say, are they available also on iTunes as well?
Dead Flowers is actually on iTunes as of right now, but we're definitely trying to get some others up on there, too.
Okay, so that's a work in progress, obviously.
Yes.
I didn't want to also forget to thank, obviously, first, foremost, and always, Michael Stover, absolutely wonderful individual. Thank you so much, Michael, to you for arranging this interview, getting Josey and I hooked up together, along with all the other amazing interviews he has actually set my way. I'm always so pleased to have Michael's artists on because they're always so well-established, so well-put together, so very professional. You're all very individual in your own right, and I just feel very honored to have you on my show. And I would hope that you will consider down the line here, whenever you would like to. You always have an open invitation to come back to my show. I would absolutely love that.
All righty, well, thank you.
Oh, not a problem at all. You go ahead, have yourself a lovely weekend, and I look forward to talking to you again in the near future.
All righty, you too. Thank you.
All right, dear, take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, listeners, that, of course, is my exclusive interview with Josey Milner. Just to reiterate one more time, she can be found at www.joseymilner.com. Her actual songs can be listened to on either ReverbNation.com or YouTube. She also has herself a Facebook page, which you can go ahead and like, and she keeps her current information listed on there, as well as, of course, Twitter, which is her handle being at Josey_Milner. That's Milner. Just a couple of actual show details before I let you go for the weekend. First of all, I just wanted to say that either Tuesday or Wednesday, and check my show schedule because we're in formulation right now, we should be having as our guest the Real Housewives of New York returning guest Aviva Drescher, who happens to be one of my absolute favorite people on that show. She is not only a wonderful philanthropist, she's obviously, of course, a living, breathing, functional amputee who is just an inspirational story to all of us, and she's just an amazing woman. I just find her to be just, again, so charismatic. So look for Aviva Drescher. We have her coming up next week. We have another up-and-coming musician that we'll be interviewing, and then, of course, we're having New Hopes, which is one of our charity organizations right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that we'll be doing on the show as of next week. 3 more things I wanted to mention to you, to those in the listening Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. If you're looking for something interesting and out of the ordinary musically this evening, head on down to 106 C Booth. That is my soul sister and best friend, Annie B. in the Vagabond Company. Annie B. herself is going to be playing as the music tonight, and that is 106 C Booth, right next door to the Screaming Tuna restaurant. So she'll be there from 9 to midnight. If you'd like to check out her acoustical musician stylings, she will be there. For those of you who like more of the dance style, which is where you could find the host herself of Sin's Chat Corner, Big Dog Sports Bar and Grill will be hosting the Eddie Butts Band. And for those of you who live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you know that Eddie Butts has been around probably longer than dirt. And he has probably got one of the best bands around town. Tracy Hanneman has just got the most amazing sound. Absolutely, absolutely love their work, and they're just a great dance band. So definitely head on out to Big Dogs this evening, and they will be playing starting at 10 o'clock tonight. The other show business that I wanted to mention, which I've been talking about for, I'm thinking, the last 3 months now, has been, of course, my upcoming charity fundraiser. This is for the benefit of breast cancer, moreover for Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition. I have opted on my own to be the acting chairperson for said event. Just to reiterate, we have a plethora of just exciting things going on that evening. We're having a belly dancer, tarot card reader. We're having a charity date auction. We're having a silent auction and a raffle table. We'll also be doing a mini fashion show. I'm having 4 different musicians that are going to be performing that evening. Food will be provided for you. And lastly, we'll have an array of 10 different vendors suited for you to do a little shopping that evening. We've kept the cost as reasonable as possible, which is $35 per ticket online. If you pay in cash in advance, it's $30. The evening of the event, once again, is December 1st from 7 to 11 o'clock. That'll be located at Blue Mountain Gardens Restaurant in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. And certainly to any of you that are listening that are outside of the Wisconsin area and would still like to do something, on the website, which I will give you the address, there is an actual area in which case you can submit a donation. And once you click on that Donate Now button, that will immediately go to the profits for that evening as a donation. If you want to check it out, the link to that would be SIN, which is CINS, charity event, and that's all one word, SIN's charity event, wbcc.yolasite.com. And once you go on there, you can find out additional information about the coalition itself, how you can help out with donations, and you can also pay for your tickets online. Additionally, as the chairperson, I'm asking if anyone happens to know anyone who would wish to volunteer to actually work the evening of the event. I'm still looking for a few individuals for that. I'm also, of course, still accepting any form of silent auction or raffle items, and I'm also looking for one more person for the charity date auction. So certainly, if you can assist me in any of those ways, please feel free to leave me a message on my show page here on Blog Talk Radio on Sin's Chat Corner. You can go to my show page on Facebook, same name, of course, Sin's Chat Corner. My personal page is Cindy, the last name M-I-C-H. Go ahead and leave me a message there. My personal email is CIN4251@gmail.com. And, of course, I also have a Twitter handle, which is at SANDB111. So certainly, please pass the word along to everyone that you know. December 1st, 7 to 11, Blue Mountain Gardens Restaurant for the benefit of the Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition. And, of course, the Executive Director, Dawn Anderson, as well as myself, will be on 94.5 Monday afternoon to promote the event at 1 o'clock. So certainly, if you get a chance, please feel free. It's not very often that the interviewer is being interviewed, so it might be a bit of an exciting and nerve-wracking experience for Cindy. So, again, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Josey Milner for coming on the show today, especially on a weekend. Thank you so much. Again, one more time to Michael Stover. Thanks so much for being a wonderful publicist and getting this together for us. Thank you to my listening audience for being a part of my audience this weekend. You have yourself a good rest of the weekend, and I look forward to talking to you next week, Wednesday. Thank you.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.